Hey, what's up everybody? We've got Rampage here. Today we're going to be talking about accountability. So we're now at a phase in training where he understands the expectations. We've done all the luring. I've showed him the expectations. We've put it on command, right? So we've done all that luring where we say sit, lure up, butt hits the ground, right? We've done this enough to where I could do it without food, right? And he's showing me that he has a relative understanding of this behavior, okay? And so now we're at the point where we can start to introduce accountability and hold him to these expectations, okay? So the tool that we're gonna be using here, so I just have my leash like in a slip lead style right here, just so we can kind of contain him. But the first saver training collar, this is what we're gonna use. This is made by Herm Sprenger, all right? This is just a standard choke chain, all right? So essentially what's gonna happen here, you're gonna slide this chain through one of these rings, just like this. And this is gonna slide over your dog's head, all right? Now, there is a right way to do it and a wrong way to do it, all right? You ideally, let's say this is Rampage's head facing this way. You're gonna wanna put it on this way, right? So that it looks like so, okay? So when I give a correction is just gonna be a quick tug out to the side, right? See how it loosens, right? So this is gonna be a little uncomfortable and then it loosens very immediately, okay? So if I do this the wrong way, put this on upside down, okay? So now I have this on upside down. When I give a correction, look what it does now. So like this stays tight. That's not what we want. We don't want that, okay? So again, that's what it would look like going upside down. We're just gonna rotate this so that now when I give that correction, it generally, and as he's moving, it'll loosen up, right? But generally it's gonna loosen just like this, okay? So that is what you're seeing right here on my wrist. That is a standard correction, okay? And again, we're only introducing this once our dog knows the expectations, okay? And has a general understanding of what we're asking them to do, okay? Otherwise, doing this from day one, it is not fair, okay? So now, like everything else, management-wise, for example, him jumping up to try to bite my kids, him biting at my legs as I'm taking him out for potty breaks, chewing on things, you know, I'm not correcting those things, I'm managing those things. Now I'm moving into a world where I can start to hold him accountable, but I gotta teach him what these corrections mean, right? And we're gonna do this in something that's familiar, which has been obedience. We've done, you know, hours and hours and hours of repetitions of doing this right here, what we're about to do, but now we're introducing some accountability to it. So when I give him that correction, it's gonna be a quick no tug, right? We're putting a marker no, giving that tug on the leash, right? Ideally, we want to pair the word no with the correction. So you say no first, then give that correction, so that over time, this is classical conditioning is going to take place, right? And then the correction's not as important, because if you're doing this consistent enough, they're going to just respect you when you say the word no, right? Rampage. Heel. Good. No. Good. So right here, he's supposed to, before we even step off, he's supposed to be in that sit. He understands he's supposed to be in a sit or down, a stationary position, right, when he comes back into the heel. He breaks it, I say no, and I give him a tug. Right here, we're gonna step off before he gets too distracted by the rocks here. Rampage, heel. Good. Good. And I'm using less luring, right, and I am still reinforcing though. Good. All right, he starts to drift, no? Good. I give him a slight tug, enough for him to go, hey, what was that? He comes back, we say good, and we pay him. No? Good. Good. And what you should see, and this is something that has been, like, this is not the very first correction he's gotten, right? Nope. Good. This is something that has been later in, but what you should start to see over time is that he's going to show you a response to those corrections, the proper responses. So I come to a stop at this point, nope. His expectations are the automatic sit because it's been lured over and over and over, okay? No. Good. All right, so my expectation for him, when I stop, he should sit automatically. All right, so right here, he goes off to sniff, no. He gets up, I'm saying no, giving a correction, no. Good. Once he goes back to doing what he's supposed to, we go and we reward him. No? Good. Rampage, heel. Good. Now you may have to help your dog if, let's say for example, he goes up ahead of me, I say no, and I correct, he doesn't respond, Rampage, heel. I can remind him, like right there was a good response. He did respond very well to that, right? But let's just say he didn't. He was like, what the hell was that? And he doesn't come to readjust on his own. You go right back into what is familiar with him. Nope, correction, left leg back, luring, good, right? So this is part of teaching him, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do when I get that correction. Good. Rampage. Down. Good. So now that we're introducing accountability even here, good, we're set up to start teaching him the stay, right? So like when we give him the down, if we say, Rampage, stay, good, I can reward him. If he gets up, we're gonna say no, give him a tug, right? And now with this one, like if he breaks this, no. Good. Notice I give him that leash tug in a downward motion, right? So I'm giving him kind of some guidance as to what direction he should go. No. Good. And then we can reward. Don't expect heel. Don't expect too much at this phase, right? Like we're just teaching him about corrections. We don't expect competition level obedience. We don't expect things to be perfect. We're gonna have to still give a lot of guidance. We're just, right now, we're exposing him to a correction, right? What is a correction? What do you do when you get that correction? Nope, nope. Good. All right, so like he goes to pick up this piece of bark, he wants to play. No. Good. Rampage. Okay, right. That's something we're working right now. We're gonna correct him for that, okay? And so right here, I'm gonna just release him. I've had him under command. We're working. I am giving him corrections. For some dogs, this can be stressful, right? So you wanna make this as, you wanna minimize the stress as much as possible. So I release him, let him do his things, right? He's not showing me major indications of stress or anything like that. A little bit of insecurity is present. That can be because Ben's here. He's still getting used to that and all. Like he doesn't see Ben every single day, all that kind of stuff. So that's more of what you're seeing as far as the insecurity stuff, but not a lot of stress as far as the corrections. All right, the last thing that we're also going to do, and this we could have talked about first probably, but you can layer this in as well. This would be teaching him about leash pressure, right? So this is going to go back to our engagement, right? So once I've introduced this collar here, I'm going to put some type of pressure here. Rampage. So I'm going to just put pressure. When he responds, I go into engagement. And responds means he goes in the direction that I want him to. So I put pressure here. Yes, he steps into it, I reward. So see how he's resisting. Yes, he just steps into it a little bit. Even if he puts a paw forward, bam, mark and reward that. All right, why is this beneficial? This is gonna help me guide him later on. And I'm gonna try to do this in a bunch of different directions. Yes, right? So like, let's just say he goes and hardcore is pulling on the leash, and now I'm doing something like this. I'm putting leash pressure. I can guide him, and he's understanding to go with that pressure. Rampage, sit. Good. Same thing if I needed to give him help with the down, which he's doing fine with that. Nope. Good. He really wants that bark. Heel. If I needed to give him help with that by giving constant pressure, this is called negative reinforcement. That's something you could do. I'm not saying that that's the way to go, right? And ideally, I want to teach all of my behaviors with luring and things like that, but I still want to teach my dog, yes, how to respond properly to feeling the leash pressure, right? So even if this is, let's just say we've been using that harness and I just throw this fur saver on and let's just go to town, start correcting them or putting tension, even like he's sniffing the ground and there's still tension on this thing. That can freak dogs out, right? So I'm teaching him like tension's not that, like it's not a big deal. This is what I want you to do when you feel the tension. I want you to just naturally respond to it in the direction that the tension's going, okay? Rampage, come. Good. Rampage, heel. Good. And as a reminder, like you should be able to do your obedience without luring. That should tell you, Rampage down, that you're ready for this stage of starting to introduce accountability. We take it nice and slow. If your dog's not responding appropriately, if we say sit, no, pop, and they don't sit, right? And you're just giving them leash pops and they're not sitting, they may not quite understand. And Rampage, okay. Don't be afraid to just abandon the corrections for now. Go back to doing some luring if you're not quite sure. You want to make sure that, again, we're minimizing the stress here, okay? So eventually little things like this, I can, so like he's chewing on this leash. No. Good, he spits it out, right? And he doesn't quite like this is a perfect example here. No. Good. He doesn't quite understand what I'm saying, which I'm wanting him to drop that leash, right? He's immediately going back for it. No. Nope. Good. And at a certain point, we are going to get involved. No. Good, but I can start to teach him, hey, I don't want you to do that behavior, right? So if he's doing something I don't like, no. Good, sniffing the ground while we're trying to work, I can start to correct that as long as he's responding appropriately, right? So these are not hard corrections or anything like that. This is just me starting to teach him, hey, I don't want you to do that thing. Good, when you're doing the right thing, I still randomly reward just like we've been doing, okay? So that is kind of a crash course. I know it gets more complex than that, all right? But that's just some of the things that we're at, no? Good, as far as starting to hold him accountable, teaching him some expectations, nothing crazy, but I'm just taking it nice and slow, as you guys should be, to make sure he's responding appropriately, no, and not stressed about it, all right? So Rampage is doing great, he's on track. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you next time.